Yo guys, what's going on? It's Shauno here, and today I'm just making a video about Balefire Bolt. Now, it's been hotfixed today, so Balefire Bolt now procs and consumes clear casting. Balefire Bolt now correctly benefits from the spell power rune. Balefire Bolt now works with ignite. Balefire Bolt now benefits from and consumes arcane blast stacks. Balefire Bolt now benefits from and spends the charges of combustion. Now, as we know, this spell had been bugged, so it wasn't performing as well as it should have been. So now what we're going to do is we're going to run some simulations to see how and when we should use Balefire Bolt, if we should use it at all. So for these simulations, I am just using my pre-BIS gear, because in BIS gear it's totally different, but we shouldn't be looking at BIS gear right now. We should be looking at sort of pre-BIS, where we're at right now, whether we should use it, how we should use it, etc. I'm getting a lot of questions asking this, so I'm doing this live right now, figuring it out with you. So first, Frostfire Bolt for a 30-second duration. Now, 30-second fight in Sunken Temple is extremely unlikely. The first boss might get to that, but the first boss you should expect about a minute. But let's just do the simulation as a test. So in a 30-second fight, Frostfire Bolt is doing 961 DPS, while Balefire Bolt is doing 999. Again, just to stress, this is in my current gear. This is not the BIS gear. Okay, so now let's look at a 1-minute fight, which is what we should really expect from the first boss in the dungeon. Now, the first boss for Frostfire Bolt is about 931 DPS and 939 DPS with Balefire Bolt. So there isn't much difference in a 1-minute fight, so bear that in mind. But as we get a bit higher, things should change. So now looking at a 90-second fight, with Balefire Bolt, we're doing 942 DPS, whereas with Frostfire Bolt, we're doing 921 DPS. One thing to bear in mind is, yes, it is 20 DPS more, but you are going to be losing all of your spirit. Your mana regen is going to suck. That's the kind of direction we're looking at right now. Is if it's a longer fight, we can't really use Balefire Bolt. So next, now we're on to the 2-minute mark. So at the 2-minute mark, Balefire Bolt is doing 922 DPS, whilst Frostfire Bolt is doing 916. So the difference between it at 2 minutes is very minimal. It's 6 DPS more, but remember, you do lose a lot of spirit. Now we're looking at a 2.5-minute fight, and we'll see what happens. In a 2.5-minute fight with Balefire Bolt, we have 876 DPS compared to Frostfire Bolt is doing 914. Now we'll look at a 3-minute fight. In a 3-minute fight, Balefire Bolt is doing 878 DPS, whereas Frostfire Bolt is doing 893. The last test is going to be on a 5-minute fight. There are some very long fights in Sunken Temple, so let's have a look at 5 minutes and how we do. So on 5 minutes with Frostfire Bolt, we're doing 905 DPS, whereas with Balefire Bolt, we are doing 773, and we're completely out of mana. So for 30 seconds and 90 seconds, the numbers are incredibly close, but Balefire Bolt is winning the race. At 90 seconds, Balefire Bolt is very, very strong. It's a lot more DPS, 20, maybe 30 DPS more at 90 seconds. As you hit the 2-minute mark, again, Balefire Bolt is okay. But as you get to 150, then Frostfire Bolt takes over. So what we're looking at here is, well, up to 2 minutes, you could definitely use Balefire Bolt. So what would my advice be? Well, if you want to play it safe, I would just play Frostfire Bolt. The crit modifier is huge. You do a lot of damage, it's consistent damage, and it's very efficient. But if you want to be different and you want to do something, then you could use Balefire Bolt if you know the fight is going to be less than 2 minutes. If you've got this far and you've watched the whole video, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. But if you're here for the TLDR summary and didn't care about any simulations, then the TLDR summary is you can use Balefire Bolt for the first and the second boss, since the fight duration is under 2 minutes. The rest of the bosses are quite long fights, some of them 3 minutes, some of them over 5 minutes, in which case I would use Frostfire Bolt. Hopefully that answers all of your questions. Thank you very much for watching this video and have a lovely day. Enjoy your raid. Thank you.